A slight apology with regards to our technical difficulties, but we're back for the Texaco Summer Series Round 6 here at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza with me, Alex Goldschmidt, the official eTeam BRIT Summer Series commentator. So up until this point, we are now into qualification for the 1 hour race. The format is half an hour free practice, half an hour qualification, and then we have a 1 hour race, lights out, and then we go racing for an hour here at Monza. The pit stop window will open 20 minutes after the lights go green, and then we'll close 20 minutes before the checkered flag. So drivers will have 20 minutes to basically get a 30-second pit stop minimum time done. They have to do a mandatory pit stop. Any driver that falls foul of that gets an automatic 130-second penalty added post-race, which happened to both Freddie Hunt and also Dave Farrow last time out at Suzuka. The 5 winners so far are Martin Plowman and also Alex Toth-Jones, both from British GT. Ben Warren, who races with Simability and is looking to make his move into the real-life world, who was on a Vasaro onboard a bit earlier on, was the winner of Round 3 at the Hungaroring. Silverstone, the home of British motor racing, saw us have our 4th successive winner, and it was another Team BRIT alumni in the form of Bobby Trundley, with the likes of Martin Plowman taking 2nd, Luke Pound rounding out the top 3. Last time out at Suzuka, our biggest grid so far, 27 cars, and we look to have even eclipsed that here at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. Freddie Hunt was joined us for the first of his 4 races with us on the Summer Series. As I said earlier on in the previous broadcast, as David Christie is showing in the initial side of things with 26 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the M6 leading the way. A lot of drivers have switched to the Mercedes-AMG GT3, but some are stuck with the some other brands. McLaren, we've also got Audi, so Dave Hedges, who was in the battle for the top 10 last time out at Suzuka, running in the number 88 Audi R8 LMS. We've also got Bentley Continental GT3s. Also, we'll have our very first guest here on Texaco Round 6 in the virtual commentary box here with myself, Alex Goldschmidt. So very soon we will see who that first person is. I think it's someone I spoke to at Suzuka very, very shortly. So there have been some prizes put on offer. A big thank you to both Texaco and DAF for their welcome assistance of adding a bit more of a carrot to dangle in front of our competitors as Darren King goes across the line. 2nd still, he hasn't improved thus far. Also, we have to give a big thank you to Al Locke, our race engineer from Team BRIT, who is down in the Team BRIT workshop with Freddie Hunt at the Vasaro simulator in Dunsfold. So Freddie is back with us, as I said earlier on. So we did mention about the hand controls for both racing and sim racing applications. Please, if you have any questions, our products have been ratified by the technical chief of Motorsport UK and also the technical director of Aston Martin ProDrive in person, which is David Lapworth. And very shortly, we will have our first guest in the virtual commentary box from my perspective, but also down to one of the drivers. Multiple drivers are streaming via their relevant Twitch accounts. We are also on Periscope through Simply Race. A big thank you to Mike. Yeah, we've had some technical difficulties, and Al Locke, don't threaten me, because you're getting comeuppance when I see you next, whether it be in person or on Skype. So we've got multiple people joining the series. Aidan Brown, Colin Cunliffe, Chris Pinchback, Daniel Hyde. They are new additions to the grid here at Monza. So, and we've got someone going very, very wide, and that was through the Ascari chicane. That might have been, I think that might have been Chris Pinchback that went wide there. Someone else has gone wide. I've actually seen a few people go off at the Ascari chicane. It's not easy. You're entering in there through at about 3rd gear, 140 kilometres an hour, and you're coming out of it nearly 180 kilometres an hour before the run down to the Parabolica here. So there's Andy Tucker. He's switched from the Aston Martin to the Mercedes-AMG GT3, which seems to be a bit of a powerhouse. think one of the fastest times I've seen so far is from Team Fordzilla's Darren King, who has come back to get an opportunity. Now, the prize fund that is an offer is a big thank you to both Texaco and also DAF. For Texaco, the Texaco Hot Lap, which will be for the 3 fastest times, they have decided to do the following. In association with the James Hunt Foundation, a big thank you for Freddie for making this happen as well, that he is a Texaco ambassador. The fastest 3 laps through the duration of the race as Josh Martin now goes top of the tree in the number 13 Mercedes AMG GT3 with around 23 minutes to go. They can the top 3 times the drivers can choose from the following: a James Hunt cap, t-shirt or polo shirt from the collection on the jameshunt.com website. But that's not all. They'll also receive 4 hospitality passes for one of Team BRIT's races later on in the year, courtesy of Texaco. A big thank you for making that happen. Now, we have something new. We're going to bring it out to the public as Dave Hedges goes straight on at the Retafilio chicane. That's turn 1, effectively, where everything could all go Pete Tong, as the terminology goes, when we go the lights to green at around 4 o'clock. DAF have decided that for the driver of the day, now this is for you people at home, we want you to get involved. We want you to watch all of the action through qualifying, through the race itself, because this is where your decision is going to be key. You can email me. You can email at eteambrit@teambrit.co.uk, not via any of the streams, to make your choice known for driver of the day. It's early doors because we've still got about 22 minutes of qualification left to go. Freddie Hunt rounding at the top 12 in the minutes in the number 1 Team BRIT Mercedes AMG GT3. So you will have, with 10 minutes to go, we will open up the recommendations, your request on who you think, your submission for driver of the day. And that driver, as we now see Freddie at the wheel of the Bizarro simulator down in the workshop down in Dunsfold, racing gloves on, looking very casual there is Freddie, but very, very committed, as we have seen. And what will happen is that we will announce the driver of the day just after the Simply Race podium, which will be our top 3, as David Christie again rounding out the top 15 in the Valkenhorst Motorsport M6 GT3, running the number 36 here at the moment at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. And what will happen is that the DAF driver of the day will receive a goodie bag from DAF, including some merchandise from them and also some collectible items. So at the moment, Tobin Lee, who was running in the McLaren 720S last time out at Suzuka in the number 55 Mercedes, is first on the road ahead of John Munro, who I spoke to in the Cinetech preview show last night. We'll be having another one of those before the last 2 rounds, which will head, as we've had, a little bit of a coming together or a couple of cars going wide, and that is through the Variante del Retafilio. That's turns 1 and 2, normally where everything kicks off in Formula 1, and it normally does in GT Racing 2. Big thank you to those. I'm looking on our official eTeam BRIT social media channels at the moment. A big thank you to Phil Kinch, who I know very, very well indeed, as we go see David Christie. Now looking, I think he's trying to, he's pulled to the right-hand side there. He's currently 17th, so he's reset and gone in the pits. So at the moment it is Ross McGregor in the 107 that is currently 4th behind Josh Martin, who is now making sure that Darren King is having to work from it. Rashid Kazim, who finished 4th last time out at Suzuka in the number 16 Mercedes, makes it a Falterbach 1, 2, 3. Ross McGregor rounds out the top 4 positions, and then we've got Tobin Lee in the 4th Mercedes. John Munro rounds out the top 6 as well, and looks like we've got Dave Hedges in the Audi 88 Audi R8 LMS GT3, as Josh Martin has also gone stealth black for this round at Monza. So it's going to be very interesting. We're getting it close to the halfway point in qualifying. So Darren King, if he wants to be the first double winner of the eTeam BRIT Summer Series brought to you in association with Texaco, he is going to have to fight for it. And I don't think Mercedes is going to be the only manufacturer involved in this scrap. As we've now got, that looks to be Anthony Hobbs there in the McLaren 720S GT3. David Christie back out on circuit, now 18th in qualification at the moment. Alex Toth-Jones is just towards the bottom part of the top 15 in 14th place ahead of Luke Pound. As here is Josh Martin, the pace setter in the Stealth Black, as he runs wide, going 2 wheels through the gravel out of Lesmo number 2. As now that was very, very close indeed. Someone went grass tracking on the right-hand side, and that is one of the Bentleys out on circuit. So Josh Martin, part of the Coach Dave Academy with Dave Perel, who I hope you're watching at the moment, as he absolutely wallops the curves as through the Ascari chicane. So this is the Variante de Retafiglio, with quite a few drivers looking to make their way through into Curva Grande. So Josh Martin resets. Current time from him, a 1:47.2. So the Mercedes is the car that really, really is showing things very, very truthfully how quick the 6.3 litre V8 is at the moment. So Martin on a 1:47.286. Darren King a 1:47.745. Rashid Kazim a 1:47.886. And then the top 5 drivers, which includes the Bentley of Ross McGregor in the 107, who's now behind Tobin Lee in the 55 Mercedes, all of them have gone sub 1:48 seconds. John Munro is 6/1000ths off of that, with Bro, Trundley, Warren, Cunliffe rounding out the top 10 positions. 1.2 seconds separate the top 10 places, and all the way down to Spencer there is a big gap around about 9 seconds, as we're now on board with Max Coates, head of driver development at Team BRIT, a want to race coach. He's also a Brit car driver, Ginetta driver, BTCC with the Infinity cars back in the day when it was Race Our Heroes in the Q50s. And for the last couple of seasons, he's been racing in the Renault Sport UK Clio Cup. He's a mini challenge driver as of this year, but obviously their season has been curtailed. But Max is now in the R Motorsport livery in the 62 Aston Martin Vantage GT3 V8, 4-litre bi-turbo, pushing out around 540 brake horsepower and around 700 Newton meters of torque. So in many respects, the drivers now have just over half the session. We're about 40 seconds away from the end of qualifying, as Daniel Hyde, who's in the Oman racing with TF Sport Aston Martin number 97, goes through the runoff area and nearly clatters into another Aston Martin, and they're door-to-door swapping bait in quali. Guys, it's not just quite yet the race. You've got to get yourself a lap time. So Daniel Hyde in the number 97, currently running 21st, 5.7 seconds off of the impressive time shown by Josh Martin at the minute. So as soon as we are able to bring in our first interviewee of Texaco Round 6 here at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza, as someone goes spearing off at the second Lesmo. Grant Lyman, one of the people from Simply Racing, the 240 Aston Martin. So I think we might have our very first guest in the interview arena here at Texaco Round 6. And that is Darren S. Cook from Scruffy Bear Pictures.
Alex, you did it again.
I didn't do this. It's not my fault. I didn't drag you in, mate. At least it's not.
I literally blew my lap.
It's not my fault. Blame the stream director, not me.
The stream director. Who is it? I shall have words with him afterwards. Henceforth,
you shall give him a good slapping.
Oh, dear me. How are you, Alex?
I'm good. How are you? I see you've made a bit of a switch in machinery, Darren.
No, I've been on the Bentley all week for this track. I tried everything beforehand, but the Bentley's just... I was, until Darren King got on the track, I was probably a low 3 seconds off the pace. Mm-hmm. But Darren, I don't know how Darren King does it. The guy is not normal to be pulling 147s out. It's insanely quick.
Well, considering the top 5 already are in the sub 148 second barrier, John Munro is 6/1000ths off it in the Bentley. He was until Bro just went P6. So I think it's 4 Aston Martins, 4 Mercedes, followed by 3 Bentleys. Then we got a further 2 AMGs. Then we got a McLaren rounding out the top 10.
Wow.
I mean, you couldn't, and that is all separated by, let's just have a look, 1.2 seconds as we head into 13 minutes 10 seconds to go. How are you faring at the moment? I know you said that the stream director just blew your lap. Apologies for that.
Yeah,
mate.
no, you know, I felt I was doing quite well, but there's a lot of traffic on at the moment. I just cannot get myself dialed in for a quick lap, and because of the amount of traffic, you're constantly getting flashed by people. And I got punted off by Josh Martin a minute ago, who, as I was turning into the corner, definitely outbraked himself. I'm sure he's not happy with it, but where there's a blame, there's a claim, I suppose. So we shall see.
Are you going to get your insurance company out on that one then, mate?
I don't know. I don't think Churchill's. It's a bit busy today with VE Day.
Well, I was going to say, oh yes. Sorry. Yes. So it looks like we've had a brief yellow flag here at Monza. Darren, all the very best of luck in the Bentley Continental GT3. Good luck today, mate.
Thanks very much, dude. Have fun, everybody. Speak to you later.
Cheers, Darren. So we now go to the last 12 minutes and 14 seconds of qualification here for Texaco Round 6 at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. We're now with Rashid Kazim through the cover parabolica and it's quite impressive. It's currently running P4 at the moment, about 6.5 tenths off of pole position, but pulls it to one side, heading towards the pits and bringing up a lot of dust. But Rashid will probably, as Josh Martin literally flashing the lights at the McLaren up in front. That could be the 41 of Colin Cunliffe there, I think. Just saying, please just get out of the way, I'm on a hot lap. So, as Darren said, it is very, very tight around here. Top 20 is now rounded out by Max Coates in the 62 Aston Martin, as we've had. That is coming on the approach to the Lesmos there, through the Variante della Roggia. So 3 cars off, and that's compromising people in the qualifying side of things. Dave Hedges pulls to the side on the main straightaway here at Monza and resets, goes back into the pits. So at the minute, it is still Josh Martin leading qualifying, but Darren King from Team Fordzilla is trying to push as hard as he can. John Munro has improved to P3. Kazim, Lee, McGregor, Bro, Trundley, Warren and Tucker. That is your top 10. They're separated by 1.4 seconds. Colin Cunliffe is rounding out the top 11 drivers. And then we've got Chris Pinchback just behind in the Audi in the number 43, so he's leading the Audi duo. As we now go on board with Aidan Brown, who's running in the Bentley Continental GT. Luke Pound is in the 99 Aston Martin, so he's stuck with that machinery for a second successive round. One of our Team BRIT rookies, newly introduced earlier on this year, so good to see him get behind the wheel. Quick yellow flag with 10 minutes and 25 seconds to go, so obviously if that happens, there is a bit of there's been something happening on the circuit. There's Aidan Brown from the in the Bentley Team M Sport Bentley Continental GT, number 10. He's running in 7th in qualification ahead of Bobby Trundley, who's leading a trio of Aston Martins as Aidan Brown now drives out of the pits. Trundley currently in P8 ahead of Ben Warren and Andy Tucker, who was recently interviewed, with the latter being recently interviewed by Is It Fast? A great insight into Andy himself, and Andy's a very great character, but very, very steely and determined behind the wheel. We all saw that at Suzuka. Darren Cook, Darren S. Cook, who I just spoke to a few minutes ago, currently running in the 75 Bentley Continental GT. As he said, he's been using that all week, and he's currently rounding out the top 23 positions here at Monza. So again, we will have, hopefully we might be able to speak to a couple of people maybe before we get the racing underway here. And this will decide the cash-up pole position for the second successive round here at Monza, as we now go and check out what Darren King was doing. We briefly head over to Max Coates in the 62 R Motorsport Aston Martin Vantage V8 GT3. Motorsport being one of the...
Set up one that's anywhere near the guy at the front.
Max Coates, welcome. How are you, buddy?
I'm all right, thanks. Are you?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. I see that you're currently coming through Parabolica as we speak. How have things been in the run-up to this particular event? Because last time out at Suzuka, I don't think you had a black flag, you had 2 drive-throughs and a partridge in a pear tree, didn't you?
Something like that. I had a black flag for something I didn't even know I'd done. And, yeah, but it's all going all right. We're getting there with this one, so... I've just been chatting to the lads in stream, and apparently... Whoop. I hope you weren't on me then.
I'm not saying anything. Sorry, what?
Okay. I was just testing out where you could break into turn 1, and that was obviously too late.
Right, okay.
So, no, I was just chatting to the lads, and apparently the Aston maybe isn't the choice car for this circuit. I've just stayed with the same car for the whole series, which might not have been the best idea in the world.
Well, I think at the end of the day, at least you get to know the machine as you go through the respective tracks and see what its strengths and weaknesses are. Obviously, you know, we got the Bentley, we got the Mercedes, and they seem to be the true powerhouses in terms of sheer grunt, whereas the Aston Martin is a bit more of an agile character in terms of in comparison with the handling, weight distribution. You know, the way that the engine is mid-mounted a bit further back under that long, impressive snout with the iconic Aston Martin grille on the front of it.
Yeah.
As you're heading down the bridge at the moment, you must be pulling around 250 kilometres an hour before heading into the Ascari chicane. But that's caught out a few people, hasn't it?
Yeah, to be fair, I've not seemed to have... I shouldn't say this at this point, but I don't seem to have had too many problems of going off. I'm just kind of finding my my braking points. I've not really... When I say I've not really done any testing for this, I mean I haven't done any testing for this. So,
well, you have been very, very busy behind the scenes. Again, you recently had another round in the Power Maxed racing series where you were duking it out with young FIA WTCR driver from Cyan Racing, Jan Erlache.
Yeah, that's
quite recently this week. So that was a good little battle there. I bet you enjoyed that one.
Yeah, that went well, to be fair. So. I was quite happy with that. I think it's always difficult to sort of try and gauge where you are, you know, in comparison to people who spend their lives on a sim. So, yeah, when I get it handed to me on this, but then going, I'm battling with a guy that's running World TCR, I kind of feel a little bit happier. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's all just a bit of a learning experience. And at the moment, I'm way down, but I'm just kind of finding my feet with where we are. So. Hopefully I can pull through a little bit more in the race.
Fair enough, mate. I mean, as they say, time's to show, points to go. Good luck this afternoon, Max. Thanks for joining me.
No problem. Thanks very much.
Right, so we now head to the last 5.5 minutes of qualifying here at Texaco Round 6 at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. Let's have a look. Is it still going to be Josh Martin? Because this is very much a repeat of what we had at Suzuka. So we're going to try and have a look at some of the times here. As Kazim, Tobin, Lee round out the top 5 in their respective 16 and 55 numbered AMGs. Ross McGregor, Aidan Brow rounding out the Bentley 6th and 7th positions. Trundley, Warren, Tucker, that's still the top 10 at the moment. Cunliffe, Pinchbeck, Hedges, Toth, Jones down in 14th. Luke Pound rounds out the top 15 ahead of the sole BMW protagonist, Mr. David Christie, in the number 36 Valkenhorst Aston Martin. Valkenhorst BMW M6 GT3. Then it's Freddie Hunt, Grant Lyman, Max Spooner, the eTeam BRIT team manager, and Sandro Ballesteros rounding out the top 20, all separated by 4.383 seconds, as we've had a yellow flag out there very briefly. Make that 2 in very rapid succession, and that is actually coming up to the Variante della Roggia before the 2 Curva di Lesmos here. And there is John Munro rounding out the top 3, so the lead Bentley. We spoke on the Cinetic preview show last night, and he said it was really interesting to hear his story of a return into sim racing after a 4-year absence, and really has been great to see John sort of dive back into it. You know, more than just the toe, it's both feet first, isn't it, really? So effectively, John has really sort of decided to jump on board, jump in with both feet first, and it's sink or swim, as we found out at Suzuka last time, and he was battling. He's definitely assured me that he's not going to have the same pit stop dramas where he didn't hit the limiter, or we discussed something, and this is quite an interesting technical aspect from my perspective, that he said to me that when you go in the pits, you've got to be in first gear. If you upshift a second, it disengages the pit speed limiter, and that's where you can get pinged. So John knows that he can't make that mistake again as he goes through barrel rolling, not literally, but in terms of jumping the curbs in the Bentley Continental GT3 through the Ascari chicane. As we've got Daniel Hyde coming out of the pits, currently running in P24 in the Aston Martin. That's the Aman with TF Racing livery there. It looks to be Dave Hedges has just got past him going into the Variante del Retafiglio, which is where we could see some dramatic things happening. Loving the fact that some drivers are coming up with their own team names, including Bobby Trunley from Team BRIT, Skint Racing. Currently running P8, 1.1 seconds, and Josh Martin has put in an absolute inhumane lap. 1 minute 47.0, and 0.063 later is Darren King from Team Fordzilla. So it's Coach Dave Academy and Team Fordzilla provisionally on the front row with 2 minutes and 12 seconds to go left on the clock as John Munro calls it a day, I think, in qualification. So very interestingly enough, I've been looking at my track map, having done some research on Ben Warren's lap with Ben. You know, he's got lumbosacral agenesis, and he also races with Simability as we go and see Freddie back behind the wheel here. He's currently running in 16th place, so he was running just outside of the top 20 last time out at Suzuka, and it was a race I think probably for him and quite a few others to forget. That's the onboard on the Assetto Corsa Competizione package here. Then we got Colin Cunliffe as, someone's taken one of the brake signboards. That looks to be the 100-metre board out, going into Curva di Lesmo 1. And someone's done the same for turns Lesmo number 2 here. So it's not been easy, as Freddie has got one of the Bentleys on his back bumper. Now, that is John Munro. So John's trying to get past as one of the other marker barriers, the braking, has been taken out. These drivers as, now who is that on the inside, the approach from the, as we got a drive-through penalty issued to Bobby Trundley. Right, now we've got a drive-through penalty for Hyde, who's had contact with Darren Cook. So Darren Cook has had, there's been a drive-through penalty issued before we've even gone. Thank you to Al Locke, who's being our race director. He is looking over every single incident. We're heading into the final 25 seconds of qualification for the Corsa pole position here at Texaco Round 6 at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. So Josh Martin ahead of Darren King. Aidan Bro now is the lead Bentley ahead of John Munro in the Bentley as well. Tobin Lee makes it 3 Mercedes-AMG GT3s in the top 5 ahead of Ross McGregor. So 3 for Bentley, 3 for Mercedes. So that's it. The checkered flag has fallen on qualification for Texaco Round 6 at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. We're going to find out very soon, and some drivers will still be on a hot lap. So I think if I'm just going to wait for confirmation that the session has been completed, because some drivers will still be on a hot lap. Provisionally speaking, that is with a 1:47.031. That provisionally speaking, that Josh Martin from the Coach Dave Academy has secured the pole position for the Corsa pole position for Texaco Round 6 here at Monza by 0.063 from the previous winner of said pole position at Suzuka, Darren King. Aidan Bro rounds out the top 3. Ross McGregor makes it 2 Bentleys in the top 4, followed by Tobin Lee, Bobby Trundley, Ben Warren, Andy Tucker, Connor Cunliffe. Just keeping an eye now. The the name that I'm missing here at the minute is John Munro. So at the minute, Josh Martin is effectively your Kershaw pole position winner in qualification for Texaco Round 6. So that was very interesting indeed. Now here's the confirmed results, and I'm going to keep an eye on where... Now I'm trying to see what has happened with John Munro. So it's Martin from King on the front row provisionally, Bro McGregor row 2, Lee Trundley row 3, Warren, Tucker, Cunliffe, Pinchbeck. That rounds out the top 10 by, that is 1.6 seconds. We might have had a disconnect from John Munro, but it's got here that, yeah, so we are literally 2 minutes away from what is going to be an impressive VE Day display in honour of those that fought for our freedoms in World War II, as we celebrate the 75th anniversary this very day on the 8th of May 2020. We're moments away from going green for 60 minutes here at Monza. And if I am completely honest, the unpredictability factor goes out of the water once again. So we're just waiting for everyone to line up on the grid. We will go through the rolling start phase here at Monza, 2x2 in traditional GT3 action. Here at the 3.6 mile, 5.793 kilometre circuit that is simply known as the Cathedral of Speed. A big thank you to everyone that is watching with us. We are less than 60 seconds away from the green lights igniting on the start finish line here at Monza. So it is Martin on pole position, Darren King from Team Fordzilla alongside. So it is a Mercedes 1-2. Aidan Bro and Ross McGregor round out the top 5 positions. I think John Munro will be in the mix there. So we're very shortly going to get underway. If the drivers are out of formation, there will be a drive-through penalty issued for being out of position on the start. The tension builds. The anticipation reaches a new fever pitch for Texaco Round 6 of the eTeam BRIT Summer Series here at Monza in Italy. So we now get the rolling start side of things underway, and Bobby Trundley looks to be in the pits as we are waiting for everyone to get into formation. It is Josh Martin and Darren King on the front row. The tyres being weaved from side to side here at Autodromo di Nazionale di Monza. 3.6 miles, 5.739 kilometres. We are about to go racing for 60 minutes here in Italy. Prizes on the line, bragging rights to be won here, where speeds will reach in excess at points on the circuit in over 250 kilometers per hour. We go, lights are green, we are racing here at Monza. And it's going to be interesting going to the Variante del Rettifiglio for the first time. Darren King's got the inside line on Josh Martin. There's a Bentley in the middle of that. Could that be John Munro or Ross McGregor? Who's going to come out of the first corner first? Oh, one of the Martins got through. King's run wide. There's a Bentley on the outside of the Mercedes heading to Curva Grande for the first time. That could be Aidan Bro that's got past Darren King through turn 3. As there's Tobin Lee there in the bright purple. Mercedes right on the back bumper of the Team Fordzilla driver. So already, as we head into turns 5 and 6, the Variante della Roggia, before heading into the 2 Lesmos for the first time, it's Josh Martin being at the front of this immense field here at Monza. We have plenty of action still to go. We have less than 20 minutes or 19 minutes on the clock to go until the pit stop window opens, and it is going to be full throttle, pedal to the metal all the way through. And it's going to be bravery of the bravest here at Monza to who can outbrake everyone else out on the circuit. So it's Martin leading in the Mercedes as they head down to the Curva Parabolica for the very first time. Aidan Bro in the Bentley Continental GT3 ahead of Darren King, Tobin Lee. And we got Ross McGregor making it 2 Bentleys, 3 Mercedes in the top 5. And good work by David Christie. He's up from what was, I think, 16th position. Up into P13 at the moment. So he's made some great inroads. And whilst others have sort of faltered, we knew it was going to be very tricky. As Aidan Brow is he's swarming all over the back bumper of Josh Martin. As Martin goes off! Martin goes off! But does he really gain an advantage? That's going to be a race director looking over that very, very fastidiously there. But he might have just outbroken himself. Aidan Brow was looking around the back bumper of Josh Martin, heading into the Variante del Rettifiglio. So at the moment, the top 10 with 57 minutes and 27 seconds completed. Josh Martin leads, Aidan Brow in second, Darren King in third, Tobin Lee in fourth, Ross McGregor in fifth, Dave Hedges up into 6th place. We've got a drive-through for Freddie Hunt, who's actually made his way up into 7th in the initial foray. So he's got to serve a drive-through within 3 laps of it being issued on that particular occasion. Chris Pinchbeck in the Audi rounds out the top 8 ahead of Ben Warren and Luke Pound. So that's the top 10 at the minute, and there's an absolute swarm. Grant Lyman definitely in the thick of things in 14th position as he's got past David Christie in the number 36 Walkenhorst BMW M3 GT3. And that is John Munro actually alongside his Scottish compatriot under the bridge heading towards the Ascari chicane. Christie will have the inside line on Munro as Lyman nerfs the curbs on the left-hand side. As Munro runs completely wide out of the Ascari chicane and has got, I think that is Darren Hyde, that's Daniel Hyde in the Aston Martin, not too far behind the Scot. So Grant Lyman comes through Parabolica in P14. So the top 3 drivers of the race will be up for prizes as Freddie Hunt now serves his drive-through penalty. So there's Freddie coming through the pit lane in the Mercedes AMG GT3, the number 1 in the Team BRIT livery. As Christie goes for it on Lyman through the Rettifiglio chicane, but the BMW driver can't get through. So that's a great scrap there. We're on board with the battle, the 3-way scrap for the lead at the moment. Josh Martin from Coach Dave Academy. Aidan Bro, who is definitely a very, very accredited young driver in terms of sim racing. So multiple of the drivers are streaming on Twitch as Josh Martin runs a little bit wide, 2 wheels in the gravel, coming out of the second Lesmo, hurtling down through the Curva del Seraglio and then through to the Variante Ascari, into the Ascari chicane. And you could just see how much commitment from Josh Martin as he absolutely wallops the curbs in the entrance and the exit of the Ascari chicane. So we've got just over 5 minutes completed here. And the minute it's Martin, Bro, King. That's the battle for the top 3. Tobin Lee isn't that far away whilst they're battling away as Darren King sends it up the inside of Aidan Bro through the Parabolica to get 2nd place. And that was fair. Bro gave him enough room to make the move. Now Darren King has to hold backside right now. I would use the American terminology there, but unfortunately it's before the 9 p.m. watershed. So Darren King now has the bit firmly between the teeth as we head to the Variante del Rettifiglio with 54 minutes still to go here. So Darren King now is out for Josh Martin's blood here in Italy at the Cathedral of Speed. Kazim in the 16 Mercedes AMG GT3 is all the way down in 11th place. And in terms of the position for the V-Racer driver, he finished P4 at the end of his all. Bobby Trunley down 3 seconds off the leader in P14. Grant Lyman rounds out the top 15 as there is Chris Pinchbeck in the second of the Audi R8 LMSs here. David Christie running in 12th position behind fellow countryman from Scotland, John Munro, who, with John being on the Cinetech preview show last night, we'll hopefully get some more guests on, which you'll be able to watch again at 5:30 p.m. BST next Thursday, with myself, Alex Goldschmidt, the Summer Series commentator. Big thank you for those interacting on social media via the Team BRIT and the eTeam BRIT social media accounts. So you can follow eTeam BRIT at eTeam BRIT on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're also on LinkedIn, and you can also go to eteambrit.co.uk. That's our official website. For Team BRIT, it's also at Team BRIT on multiple different social media channels. Please type it in on the search engine. You will find Team BRIT very, very easily indeed. So the sole BMW M6 GT3 entrant, David Christie, is currently running in P12 at the minute. Still getting into some kind of irrelevant. We're going to see what lap time David sets this time around. Not bad, a 150.7 for the BMW driver. He's running at about 270 kilometers an hour as he goes onto the brakes into the Variante del Rettifilo. There's Sandro Ballesteros. He is one of the Racing with Autism drivers. He's 12 years old. He's a karter normally, as Bobby Trunley goes side by side with David Christie into the Curva Grande. So Trunley will make a position here quite easily. Nice spatial awareness from David Christie in terms of that. But he gets the inside run going into the Variante della Roggia. But Trunley had made the move stick, but Christie hustles it through the curves as through the Lesmos we see the two Bentleys of Alex Toth-Jones in P10 in the number 8 Bentley Continental, and right on his rear exhaust pipes is the number 7 Bentley Continental of John Munro. Now there is Anthony Hobbs in the leading the leading McLaren 720S. Oh, no, he's actually behind Colin Cunliffe, who is the other driver. Oh, nearly a coming together between him and, I'm just seeing, is that Max Spooner that's just passed him, the eTeam BRIT team manager. The battle again between David Christie and Bobby Trunley is not going anywhere, as Christie goes towards the outside and out brakes Trunley into Parabolica. That's brazen and it's very best from the BMW M6 driver. Well done, David Christie. Bobby Trunley stole the show with the 130R overtake last time out at Suzuka, and I think David Christie has served Trunley a bit of a taste of his own medicine, but Trunley's in the slipstream, heading to the Variante del Rettifilo. This is an absolutely brilliant battle as, Trunley spears off and goes to the right-hand side and hits the barriers. That is disaster for Trunley. What happened there? He got towards the inside, and I think we might have just had we've now got 10 minutes until the pit stop window opens, and there has been a penalty issued, I believe, to Bobby Trunley. He went into the Variante del Rettifilo on the inside of David Christie, and the car just broke from the rear and ended up in the barriers. What a disaster for Bobby Trunley on that race, on this race, and not too far behind. It's still really, really a shame to see that the rear end just broke on Bobby Trunley's car, broke traction and speared him onto the right-hand side. So at the moment, we still have plenty of this race left to go. This is a brutal track, and the slightest mistake in the braking can snap the back end of the car at any particular point. But that was just so. But you can now see that Bobby Trunley has got back on the back bumper of David Christie as they head down towards Curva Parabolica T11 here at Monza. As again, Right, there is there was an initial penalty. Thank you very much to Al Locke, our race director, for saying that the penalty for Trundy was cleared as he gained no advantage. The penalty was automatic but not deserved, which meant he was able to fight back at David Christie. So they've now swapped positions for 12th and 13th respectively, but Christie's got into the toe for the Rettifilio chicane. His two wheels neatly nips on the grass, kicking up a little bit of dust, and he straight lines it. Straight lines it at the Rettifilio. So what David Christie is doing is being very, very sportsmanlike. The driving standards in this have been exemplary today, and also at Suzuka last time out. So David Christie does the sensible thing and slots in behind. So he's still running in P13, an improvement of where he was. I think he was 15th or 16th last time out at Monza. And I completely understand the thought process of Al Locke there, where he said that the penalty was automatic as per the system software. Now, I'm really, really interested because I've just seen the drive-through being shown again for Freddie Hunt. That's his second drive-through, but I think that might have been cleared. So I'll wait for Al Locke just to confirm that. It looks like it's been cleared off the system. He's just messaging me now. Thank you very much, Al. So it could be another automatic penalty. Right. It looks like there has been a system update to Assetto Corsa Competizione, which, again, the penalty, the second drive-through that would have been shown to Freddie Hunt was not deserved. So it has been cleared. Big thank you to Al Locke for looking over proceedings, as we are now with Dave Hedges on the 88 Audi R8 LM3 GTS. He's running in P5 ahead of the sister Audi of Chris Pinchback. We're now on the rear view camera of Sandro Ballesteros in the number 9 Bentley Continental GT. Here's Freddie Hunt in the number 1 Aston Martin. Sorry, not Aston Martin, I'm doing it again. You can see why this is getting confusing. We're going to have to tell these drivers to give us the list beforehand. So he's in the number 1 Team BRIT Mercedes AMG GT3, crossing the line in 18th position. And he's closing on eTeam BRIT team manager Max Spooner, I believe. They were less than half a second from each other across the start-finish line, heading into the Variante del Rettifilio. So nice work there by Freddie, trying to get up into 17th position. We're 6 minutes away from the pit stop window opening for 20 minutes. All drivers have to serve a mandatory 30 seconds minimum stop. Otherwise, they get 130 seconds added to their race time post-race. And Al Locke will be keeping a close eye on that, as there's a little bit of dust kicked up in the Variante della Roggia, either from Max Spooner or from Freddie Hunt, as Freddie looks to have taken the position away from Max Spooner on the approach, going around the outside of Lesmo 1 through into Lesmo 2. Running through there at around third gear on the apex at around about 140 kilometers an hour now through the kind of Seraglio before the Variante Ascari. So Freddie will be pulling around about 260 kilometers an hour as he heads into the braking zone. Then goes onto the brakes, round to about third gear, 140 kilometers an hour. Wrestling with the back end of the car. All that steps out. That allows Max Spooner to close up through the Variante Ascari for Freddie Hunt, but he keeps it planted. Nice save there by Freddie Hunt. For those watching at home on the stream, you could just see the amount of input Freddie was doing to wrestling with the back end because it was trying to step out from the rear. So nice work there. Tight apex through the Parabolica as the Parabolica opens up. And he's now extended the gap between himself and Max Spooner to around 3.5 tenths of a second. They come across the start-finish line, and they were about 3 tenths of a second apart. So Max is going to get the slipstream, moves to the inside of the Variante della Roggia. Rettifilio here at Monza. Nice tight apex from the pair of them through the first 2 corners, through the chicane. Now they power out of the corner at around, well, it's the slowest corner on the track. First gear, 70 kilometers an hour. They're going to enter at around 200 kph as they surge their way through the Curva Grande. Here at turn 3, they'll be accelerating and probably hitting around nearly 260 kilometers an hour in top gear. That's around 160 miles an hour in layman's terms over here in the UK before dropping it down to second. 100 kph through turns 4 and 5. The Variante della Roggia, the second chicane here. And then they go through, and you can just see how these marker boards have had an absolute muddering through qualifying. 3.5 minutes until the pit stop window opens here for Texaco Round 6 here at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. With myself, Alex Goldschmidt, on commentary. A big thank you to Mike Yao and Simply Race for coming on board for the remainder of the Summer Series, which will be broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and also Periscope, along with Twitch, via the respective streams through Simply Race, eTeam BRIT, Team BRIT, and also the drivers will have their own respective POV onboards that are being streamed as we speak. So let's see if we can catch up with our two leaders, which I would imagine will still be Josh Martin leading from Darren King. So Coach Dave Academy versus Team Fordzilla in the battle for the victory here at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. So just keeping an eye on my messaging service from Al Locke. Right, so we've had a bit of a disaster, unfortunately, for Ross McGregor. Real shame for him. His the game actually crashed on him, so it was an instant disconnect, so was unable to take the start. Ross, a real shame. I'd like to give you my commiserations on that front. It does happen. We have had that happen on multiple platforms through esports competition that has been happening over the past few weeks or so. So less than 2 minutes to go as Freddie Hunt now makes his way to the first Lesmo. Looks like that could be... Now, the penalty for Spencer, I've just been informed, that is for exceeding track limits. So he's got to drive through, currently running in P25, and I think he was just the one that was passed by Freddie Hunt. So we are on lap number 11 here at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. Josh Martin leads from Darren King. Aidan Bro, as we are on the rear wing camera view of Luke Pound, who's got Josh Munro chasing him down. The pair were just over 4 tenths apart as they crossed the start-finish line to start their 11th lap here. 3.6 miles, 5.793 kilometres here at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza, as Rashid Kazim is showing in the pit. So whether there's been an issue for the number 16 Mercedes AMG GT3, as Luke Pound and John Munro, a line astern going through Della Roggia up towards the two Lesmos. So there we are. There's Luke Pound's inboard, even though it's not reflective of his racing at the minute. We hope you're enjoying the action so far. Things seems to have gotten into a bit of a rhythm here at the moment, but it will all change as we are fractions of time away as John Munro goes side by side with Luke Pound for P8, heading into the Ascari chicane, and late brakes takes the position from the Aston Martin heading into the approach. Nicely done by John Munro there. So he's 9.9 seconds behind Ben Warren in the 87 Mercedes AMG GT3 up the road. But the pit stop window finally opens for Texaco Round 6 here at Monza. The flags waving in the tribunes heading towards the Parabolica. So Rashid Kazim has dropped down the order. Max Coates and Darren Cook ran at the top 22 positions. So as John Munro now pits early, he jumps in the pit lane like a rabbit up a drain pipe and decides to go early. So he might have had... Now this is where you're going to really see people make inroads, as Luke Pound is now 10.3 seconds behind Ben Warren. And there is Ben going through Curva Grande, as he's just not that far behind one of the Audis, which is Chris Pinchbeck in the number 43 Audi R8 LMS. We then got Hedges up ahead. That's Dave Hedges as the back marker. Aston Martin nicely gets out of the way. There's Dave Hedges. There's now on board the rear spoiler of Josh Martin. And just behind is Darren King from Team Fordzilla. So the battle for the lead quite clearly on. The duo have decided not to pit yet, as John Munro, I think, has exited the pits in around. He's still in the pits at the moment, so each driver has to serve a mandatory minimum of, as there's a backmarker Bentley in the way of Josh Martin. Now, could this compromise him? The Bentley sensibly pits, so that allows Josh Martin to be released. And the gap between him and Darren King from Team Fordzilla is around about 1.4 seconds. Aidan Bro rounds out the top 3 in the number 10 Bentley Continental GT3. Just behind them looks to be a McLaren 720S, which I think might be it could be Hobbs, Anthony Hobbs, and the McLaren's number 22, or it could be the number 2 of Robertson, Dean Robertson. So at the minute, 1.485 seconds separates first from second position. Darren Cook's now opted to go in the pits in his Bentley, so that could have been him, I think, that we just saw going into the pits a moment ago. Alex Toth-Jones rounds out the top 10, but he's only about a tenth of a second or so behind Bobby Trundy in the number 23 Mercedes AMG GT3, opting to call his team Skint Racing. So it's Martin from King, Bro, Lee, Hedges, Pinchbeck, Warren, Pound, Trundy and Toth-Jones. So that's a Mercedes 1-2 from a Bentley, another Mercedes in 4th, 2 Audis in the top 6. Then it's Mercedes, Aston Martin. So Luke Pound is the leading Aston Martin at the moment in the field. Bobby Trundy makes it another Mercedes. So that is half of the top 10 represented by the Affalterbach-based brand, with Alex Toth-Jones making 2 Bentleys in the top 10. 16 minutes and 20 seconds left to go on the pit stop window. Freddie Hunt has now made his pit stop. Looks like there's been a couple of stop-go 30s being applied to both Darren Cook and Rashid Kazim. Maybe for a too short a pit stop or some sort of infraction. Right, Aidan Bro has now pitted from the top 3. So the number 10 will drop a little bit further back. So we'll drop outside of the top 10, judging by the pit stop windows. So Josh Martin looking to do a number on Darren King. There's Tobin Lee, who will now who will inherit 3rd position from Aidan Bro when he comes through. But that depends on how far behind. So there goes Tobin Lee through the Della Roggia chicane, being followed by one of the McLarens. We have 3 in this field. And the highest place is in 11th position. That's Colin Cunliffe in the number 41 McLaren. Then Anthony Hobbs in the number 22 McLaren. And then we've got the number 2 McLaren of Dean Robertson, who's rounding out the top 21. Now we're on board with the back rear wing cam, I might say, of Alex Toth-Jones. And there is a Mercedes just behind. It's Grant Lyman, Max Spooner, Max Coates, all in the pits. 14 minutes, 45 seconds left to go on the pit stop window before we go back to full throttle racing. This is where the strategy really, really counts. And it's a format that we've really come to love here. There's a stop-go penalty that has been cleared. I'm sure that Al Locke will inform me in due course as to what has happened there. So, as I said earlier, with 10 minutes to go, we will open the submissions for the DAF driver of the day here. You have to watch the whole race, support your driver, and at the end of it, we will announce with the Simply Race podium. Hopefully we'll get to speak to some of the drivers. Hopefully the top 3 will jump on our broadcast chat post-race, so we can chat with them, and then we'll hopefully get a word with the DAF driver of the day. So the top 3 will comprise not only the Simply Race podium, but also the top 3 drivers from the Texaco Hot Lap. Right, okay, clarification from Al Locke. He cleared the penalty for Freddie Hunt for speeding in the pit lane exit in the last 10 metres or so, but he slowed on exit, so no advantage given. Great clarity from our race director, Al Locke, who is informing me of that. Max Spooner has got a stop-go 30. Is that a speed lane penalty? Speeding in the pit lane penalty? I'm sure I'll be told momentarily as we go on with Ben Warren. Goes a bit wide, 2 wheels touching the gravel and kicking up some dust through Lesmo 1. Running a little bit wide, coming through turn Lesmo 2 there. And here's impressive. Now, Ben is one of the drivers running with hand controls, as opposed to a conventional throttle and brake pedal setup like myself or a few of the drivers. So it allows the drivers that are not as able-bodied to compete on the same level. That is the ethos of what we do both at Team BRIT and also eTeam BRIT, and with our forthcoming series to be fully confirmed, which we are working on behind the scenes here at eTeam BRIT. It is an exciting new development. It's going to bring the dimension of our racing online to a new dimension, and believe you me, with what we've got planned, it is going to blow the bloody doors off, in the words of Michael Caine in The Italian Job would say. Josh Martin still leads. The gap now between him and Darren King from Team Fordzilla has dropped to around 9/10 of a second. So the battle for round 6 is quite clearly on. Brought to you in association with Texaco. Could Darren King become our first ever double winner of the Summer Series? Or could Josh Martin from the Coach Dave Academy in the Stealth Black number 13 Mercedes AMG GT3 say otherwise? As he's now going to start flashing the lights, it looks like there's a McLaren backmarker up in front for Josh Martin. And that could be Anthony Hobbs, I believe. There's Colin Cunliffe in the number 41 McLaren, as he now inherits 8th position as Tobin Lee and Alex Toth-Jones serve their mandatory pit stops. Just over 11 minutes of that to go before we close the pit stop window. So every driver has to serve a mandatory 30 seconds in the pit stop before going out. So they're going to spend a couple of minutes in the pit lane. So we're about to reach half time here at Texaco Round 6 at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza for the eTeam BRIT Summer Series. Prizes on offer for the last 3 rounds of the championship, courtesy of Texaco and DAF. A big thank you to them, as Chris Pinchbeck will now inherit 3rd place as Dave Hedges hits the pit lane. So Chris Pinchbeck with SimSport Racing, it looks like. That's what he's monikered the team on the Audi R8 LMS. That looks to be the Evo variant. There was a facelift, so the customer racing develop side of Audi Sport, based in Neuburg and Donald. There is that looks to be Tobin. Who is that we've got on the screen there at the moment? That could be that's a Mercedes driver. As someone goes very wide, that's a Bentley through the Ascari chicane. Or no, that's Varianti della Roggia. So that is the 55. And that is, I believe, that is Tobin Lee. Gone with him. We'll have John Munro showing up very shortly. There is the 22-year-old from Glasgow, currently running in the... and you can just see on the inputs, he brakes from 6th gear into... from around 260 kilometers an hour. He's currently running behind there. So a big thank you to the stream director for telling me what's happening at the moment. So we've just had Tobin Lee, John Munro, there's Sandro Ballesteros in the number 9 Bentley Team M Sport Continental GT3. and he's running pretty well at the moment. As the two leaders have pitted, Martin and King have blinked at the same time, with around 9 minutes of the pit stop window still to go. Ballesteros through the second Lesmo, down to the Curva del Seraglio here at Monza before they head to the Variante Ascari. Max Coates pits, Anthony Hobbs pits, Daniel Hyde in the 97 Aston Martin pits as well. Pinchbeck now pits as well in the Audi R8. As now Hyde, I've just been informed. Thank you, Al Lock. Daniel Hyde has just been given a drive-through for after a unsafe rejoin after the pit stop. Colin Cunliffe, the leading McLaren in this race, so inheriting the race at the moment, but still having to pit at the minute, will be of 1-2 at the moment. It's two drivers in the form of Ben Warren and Luke Pound in the 87 Mercedes and the 99 Aston Martin respectively. They still have to serve their pit stop of 30 seconds here at Monza. So at the minute, the running order with 27 minutes, 24 seconds on the clock. It is Warren from Pound, Cunliffe, Martin, King, Pinchbeck, David Christie, the sole BMW in P7. Make that P6. Has he just overtaken Darren King? If he's done that, he's probably still got a pit stop. I'm getting myself a bit too excited on that particular. But if he's just overtaken Darren King, I'd love to see that if we can get a replay of it. So David Christie, the only BMW driver, up into P5 ahead of Darren King from Team Fordzilla. They're about 0.2 of a second adrift behind Josh Martin. And Martin, if King gets past, he's got a bit of work to do, because between David Christie and Josh Martin there is a gap of 1.886 seconds thus far. Tobin Lee, so Christie gets overtaken by both Darren King and Aidan Bro in the number 10 Brow, as someone's gone to the side off of the... Now that is an Aston Martin. Blue flags being waved as they head to Parabolica. This is now the 19th lap. Well, the leader now, Ben Warren in the 87 Team ACA ASP Mercedes AMG GT3. There's Aidan Bro, and he's right behind Darren King from Team Fordzilla. So we have in prospect, as we've got less than 6 minutes remaining on the clock for the pit stop window remaining open, that we could have a 6th different winner. And I stress this word with absolute definition here of a possibility of this, that we could have a 6th different winner from 6 different races in the first ever summer series organised by Team BRIT and eTeam BRIT, with Simply Race doing some fantastic visuals here. As both... Right, okay, Luke Pound's pitted. Cunliffe in the McLaren has also pitted. So it looks like Ben Warren's also done the same. Right, we've got a drive-through for... the number 67 of Andy Tucker for what was, I think, that was track limits. So they are being policed. As I say, these the new update that happened earlier on today on Assetto Corsa Competizione, which you are running with for the entirety of the eTeam BRIT Summer Series, Texaco Round 6 here at Monza. As Aidan Bro is trying to close down on Darren King, Josh Martin on the 19th lap of this race has a clear gap of around 2.75 seconds. So Darren King really has a massive mountain to climb here, and it's at one of the toughest tracks, at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. He showed the pace, but Josh Martin has really decided to throw the kryptonite the way in the direction of the Team Fordzilla driver by deciding to switch from the Aston Martin that kept him really, really well, as we see Max Spooner in the eTeam BRIT number 63 Mercedes AMG. He's just ahead of, I think that might be Max Coates in the number 62 Aston Martin, rounding out the top 21 positions. So if a driver gets a drive-through, they have 3 laps to serve it, which is normal in racing circles. Max Spooner rounding out the top 14. So still lots to go in this race. 3 minutes and 20 to go before it's pedal to the metal. Here at Monza, full throttle all the way, and they are literally, the brakes are being tested here at Monza. The engines, the tyres are literally being tortured here as we go on to the in-cockpit shot with Freddie Hunt. And oh, he's had a little bit of a clattering together. That's Ben Warren up ahead. Ben Warren in P8. So a little bit of a coming together. Freddie went for a gap up the inside, going through the first Lesmo on the inside of Ben Warren, and that didn't happen. It wasn't going to happen. There wasn't enough room. A real shame there. I'm wondering if that incident might be investigated, as we now see Dave Hedges still leading the 2 Audis. He's in 6th place at the moment, 3.27 seconds ahead of Chris Pinchbeck. So good to see that Audi Sport, based out of Neuburg am Donau, is being represented as Freddie Hunt is in the slipstream of Ben Warren. Now this is, I must stress this is not for position. Not for position. It looks like Freddie's trying to unlap himself here. 261, and he sends it up the inside of Ben Warren through Parabolica. Just a bit wide. Ben Warren will get the... oh, that's a brilliant switchback. Textbook manoeuvre there from Ben Warren, who was our driver for the Vasaro on board. But Freddie, like any true racer, not giving up without a fight. And we've now had a drive-through issued. Freddie Hunt's got a drive-through for contact, and he's late braked into Rettifilio. Oh, and he's turned himself around 180 degrees the wrong way. So he outbraked himself going into the Variante del Rettifilio and mounted the sausage curbs and clattered into the side of Warren. Warren kept it planted, and Freddie Hunt turned himself 180 degrees the wrong way, and looks like Anthony Hobbs just narrowly missed being collected as an unwilling participant. And it also looks like we've got 60 seconds to go on the pit stop window here, as I think that's Max Coates just being asked to get out of the way quite nicely by Josh Martin, who is on about to complete lap number 21 here at Monza. He's got nearly 2.5 seconds between himself and Darren King as he slingshots past Max Coates on the approach to the Variante del Rettifilio. Here at Monza, he's going to brake from around 270 kilometers an hour in top gear down to first, down to 70 kph. As there's Anthony Hobbs. He's the second highest running McLaren 720S in this field, as we now go 15 seconds left for pit stops to be taken. Otherwise, if they don't take it, pit stop penalty will be added. That's 130 seconds. 3, 2, 1. 20 minutes to go. Pit stop window close. It's now game on. 2.9 seconds is the gap between Josh Martin from Coach Dave Academy, Darren King from Team Fordzilla in P2, Aidan Brow in the leading Bentley Continental GT, the number 10, is about 2.6 seconds behind. Tobin Lee makes it 3 Affalterbach produced Mercedes AMG GT3s in the top 5. Then Audi is represented quite nicely by Dave Hedges and Chris Pinchbeck. Ben Warren is the 4th out of the top 7 Mercedes AMG GT3s, followed by another Bentley in the form of John Munro. Bobby Trundley rounds out the top 9. Alex Toth-Jones makes it 3 different manufacturers represented in the top 10 with a Bentley. David Christie is absolutely having a brilliant race so far. The Scot currently in the M6 BT3. Right. Now, thank you, Al Locke, Andy Tucker, hasn't pitted through the window. 132nd post-race penalty for the driver in the 67 AMG. Colin Cunliffe, who also didn't do a mandatory stop during the window, will drop, and that will literally will give the lead. McLaren honours to Anthony Hobbs in the number 22. Now Ben Warren getting very, very feisty indeed. There is a Bentley up ahead, and I'm wondering which Bentley that is. Is that John Munro? Is there a battle game on? I'd like to see the intervals between 7th and 8th position, because if that is the case, if that is the number 7 Bentley, that is John Munro. It is. So the battle for 7th position contested between Bentley and Mercedes AMG. 4-litre turbocharged V8 versus 6.3-litre naturally aspirated V8 AMG power. So it's the Volkswagen Group against Mercedes, as Bentley is one of those multiple marques being represented, as Ben Warren goes towards the outside of Curva Grande on John Munro, heading towards the Variante della Roggia. He's trying to outbrake him, but he can't do it. Munro on the anchors like an absolute champ through della Roggia, through to the first of the 2 Lesmos, and right behind them is Bobby Trunley. Oh, if you wanted an exciting battle for the lower part of the top 10, you've got it right now. As this time around, John Munro doesn't do the pit stop limiter mistake that he did last time out in Suzuka, as there is Darren King getting past, I think that is possibly Daniel Hyde, and that is in the Oman with TF Sport liveried Aston Martin. He's currently running in 18th. So the gap at the moment between Munro, Warren and Trundley. This is a captivating battle. They are separated by less than a second and a half between 7th, 8th and 9th as we go onto the chase cam with Ben Warren. And we've had a brief yellow flag there. Make that 2 within the last 10 seconds as they come out of cover Parabolica, heading onto the start-finish straight. As Trundley's in the tow on Ben Warren, heading to the Rettifilio chicane. Trundley pulls out of the tow. He's going to try the late braking opportunity. Do a Daniel Ricciardo, lick the stamp and send it on the inside of Ben Warren. He makes the move for P8 and stops it in time, does Bobby Trundley. Now he's got a Bentley clearly in his sights. There's Aidan Bro in the Mercedes, in the Bentley team M Sport number 10. As Darren King has closed on Josh Martin, the battle for the lead is going to ignite like a set of Chinese fireworks here in Italy. Pardon the pun. But Darren King is really muscling it with 24 laps on the board so far. There is Darren King coming through Parabolica, entering the corner at around... Sorry about that. Siri decided to activate on my phone, even though I've got Do Not Disturb on it. Right, sorry about that. I'll learn that for next time. Rookie error there. So Darren King has got, I think that might be Max Spooner up ahead. So you got, in about 5 minutes' time, the submissions will open for the DAF driver of the day. Don't forget to email us at eTeam BRIT at teambrit.co.uk. Thereby we will have our driver of the day. So there's Bobby Trunley hunting down John Munro. Half a second separates the pair. And we've had a drive-through, I believe. That looks to be, yeah, funny enough, that is Anthony Hobbs. So I'll just await for clarification whether that is going to... There we go. Hobbs got a drive-through. Thank you, Al Locke, our race director, for unsafe rejoin to the circuit, as John Munro now has to have another battle royale with Bobby Trundley as we head to the final 14 minutes of Texaco Round 6 here at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. And the gap now between Trundle and Munro is 0.3. Make that 0.2. They head to Della Roggia. Trundle brave on the brakes through the chicane here at turns 4 and 5. Now up to cover di Lesmo 1, then into Lesmo 2. Munro going defensive. I can tell by the driving style. He's using the racing line and trying to make sure he doesn't make any mistakes coming out of Lesmo 1. Now the short blast down to Lesmo 2 here at Monza. And Munro's managed to eke out a gap, but Bobby Trundle has got the slipstream heading down to Varianti Ascari. And he's right up behind the Bentley under the bridge, braking from 260 kilometers an hour approximately in 6th gear, down to 3rd. Munro gets a really good run coming out of the Ascari chicane, as Trundle is closing in on him. But in many respects, I think Ben Warren's doing the right thing. He's going to keep it consistent. He's 1.5 seconds off of this battle now. And it is a case of that if Munro and Trundle have it coming together. Oh, sideways from Trundle coming out of the parabolica there. That was really, really tight. That lost Trundle quite a bit of time there. And in many respects, that is going to land him an opportunity to try and close back in. Hopefully we'll try and speak to some drivers post-race. We don't want to disturb them whilst they are battling away, and I don't want to disturb this great battle between Bobby Trundle and John Munro. And here we are with John Munro right now. So in many respects, it's been a very, very entertaining race so far. As I saw a little bit of dust being kicked up coming out of Lesmo 2, that looked to be possibly Tobin Lee, maybe Darren King. I couldn't really tell by the shading. But at the moment, the drivers have 11 minutes, 50 seconds to go on Texaco Round 6 of the eTeam BRIT Summer Series here at Monza. What a fantastic strategic battle. We are on course for being one away from equaling Formula One's 7 races from 7 different winners. Now, I want to know, at the moment, I see that some drivers are going sub 150. Let's see if we can very shortly have a look who is in contention for the Texaco Hot Lap. The top 3 will get the choice of a T-shirt, cap or polo shirt from the James Hunt collection. As blue flags being waved, Tobin Lee looks to be making his way through backmarker traffic. So it looks like he's got past. So at the moment, this is where things stand at the minute. 26 laps on the books, and I think that is the interval at the moment. 0.8 of a second. Darren King has absolutely decimated the gap between himself. It was 2 seconds, and with just over 10 minutes and 40 seconds remaining, Josh Martin could have a battle and a half. And there it is. There's the gap. It's been absolutely truncated. Darren King wants to make it 2 for 2. Josh Martin got the Kasia pole position earlier on. And in many respects, Darren King from Team Fordzilla, I'm sure that his friends in the YouTube chat are probably going absolutely stir crazy, willing him on. And I know that there will be some supporters of Josh Martin here at Monza. Alex Soth-Jones just puts in a 1 minute 51.192. He's currently rounding out the top 10. So let's see. They come through Parabolica here at Monza. David Christie puts in a 1 minute 52.1, but I've seen lap times quicker than that. So, ladies and gentlemen, you have until the 5-minute mark to email us at teambrit.co.uk to vote for your DAF driver of the day. We will collate those results. So you have until, and I think we might, I'm just going to see, have we had any nominations so far? Let's have a look. We're still waiting. We're still waiting for the votes for DAF driver of the day. You've been given plenty of warning. On the YouTube chats, it's not going to work. It's going to be at eTeam BRIT, at teambrit.co.uk. So there is Darren King. He has really, really surprised everybody, myself included. I think that Josh Martin would have had it all his own way, but Darren King has thought otherwise here at Monza. So I'm just going to go dark for just a second on the microphone. So at the minute, there is still plenty of time left to go. 8 minutes and 24 seconds on the clock remaining. Don't forget, DAF Driver of the Day. Email us at eTeam BRIT. And I'm actually, I might be pausing for a second, but I'm doing it for very good reason. So just do this quickly for DAF Driver of the Day. So you have 2 minutes and 42 seconds to do so. So I've just put that on the official chat in the on there. So don't forget to vote for your respective drivers on there. So I think we're not the only ones struggling with technical difficulties. I think another championship that's been running has had technical difficulties this morning. Or this afternoon. So Ben Warren fighting away with John Munro. So looks like, I think, has Bobby Trunley got past? Just want to have a look at the current side of things. Bobby Trunley now up into P7. John Munro losing a bit of time. I think his early pit stop might have been at a bit of a detriment on his strategy. But he's trying to keep Ben Warren at bay. 1 minute and 30 to go until we close your votes for the DAF Driver of the Day. We might extend that with 3 minutes up until 3 minutes remaining. But the battle at the front of the field has been getting closer and closer between Josh Martin from Coach Dave Academy and also Darren King. So just in many respects, we could have that. Okay, we're gonna. I think we're gonna see. I'm going to give a choice. I'm going to go out on a limb because there has been so much action going on. But we will have a DAF Driver of the Day. So you have. I'm going to extend the window here. You have until 3 minutes to go, 180 seconds of this race, to cast your votes to the email. Otherwise, I will decide one on the spot, and we will get that person on the broadcast after the Simply Race podium. So hopefully, I know that the stream director is going to hear me. We're going to try and see if we can speak to our top three for the Simply Race podium, as well as our DAF Driver of the Day. 5 minutes and 22 seconds remaining on the clock here. Yep, thank you very much. We've now had our first vote for DAF Driver of the Day. Let's just have a look. Brilliant. We've got a couple of votes in. So, already. You can't nominate the race director. You know who you are. Sorry, but you get a shout out, our lot. Thank you for that. So, we've got 2 drivers nominated so far. Up for DAF Driver of the Day will be not. So there might have to be a casting vote if I don't get enough people coming in. I'm sure I'm going to get some backlash on the Discord chat here. Don't say it yet, lol. But we've got 2 votes apiece. We've got 2 votes already in. We need some more. I'm not going to say who they are, but we are going to tell you post-race. So if I get an equal amount of votes for 2 particular drivers or 4 particular drivers, I will give the casting votes. So you have 1 minute and 15 seconds to vote for your Team BRIT, for your eTeam BRIT Summer Series DAF Driver of the Day for Texaco Round 6. We've had 2 votes so far. The more, the merrier. So 4 minutes to go. There's Sandro Ballesteros rounding out the top 14. Looks to have got past Colin Cunliffe in the number 15 McLaren. A big thank you to Phil Kinch, who said fantastic race. Really enjoyed it. Thank you very much, Phil, for watching, along with those watching on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, and also Periscope, as that might be a move for 14th there. And if you have, that's a very brazen move there, Mr. Cunliffe, as just ahead is, I think that's Freddie Hunt, just around there. Well, we've also got, looks like Dave Hedges, so Dave Hedges will be catching up fast. So for those that haven't voted, please go to, you got 15 seconds to put in your, so I think we are going to go to a casting vote on this one, as Cunliffe drifts wide at De La Roggia on the approach to the chicane. Right, so that is it. Time is up for Daft Driver of the Day. There is going to be a casting vote decided. If you haven't got your vote in yet, I'm afraid you're going to have to do it next time when we come back for round 7 at the Grand Prix circuit, the Nürburgring Grand Prix Strecke. So in many respects, that means we have, I know who the driver of the day is. We will announce that after we have interviewed the top 3 on the podium. And that is Andy Tucker, who's parked it up for the rest of the race. We'll see him back at the Nürburgring next week, May the 15th. At 3 PM British Summer Time for Texaco Round 7 of the eTeam BRIT Summer Series. Big thank you to both Texaco and also DAF for helping to put in a prize fund for the remainder of the races as well. Right, thank you, Al. Andy Tucker has retired due to his steering wheel rig failing at home. A shame, Andy. We'll see you next time at the Nürburgring. So we're coming down to the final 1 minute and 40 seconds. There is a little bit of a roughed up at it. So we'll just roll through. There's Max Coates in the 62, our Motorsport Aston Martin. So a big thank you for our. There's Dave Robertson in the number 2 Team BRIT McLaren 720S. Rashid Kazim, 4th last time out at Suzuka. He's going to have to come back and fight another day at the Nürburgring next week. Daniel Hyde in 17th in the 97 Aston Martin Oman Racing with TF Sports. Then go to 16th, Freddie Hunt. A better finish for the son of 1976 Formula 1 world champion James Hunt, who we unfortunately have no longer with us. There's Max Spooner in 15th, and it looks like he's parked it as well, whether he's had an issue or decided to call it a day. Sandro Ballesteros in the Bentley. Colin Cunliffe in the 41 McLaren. Luke Pound in the number 99 Aston Martin in P12. There we are, the 2 leaders. There's Darren King. He is not that far behind, about 1.3 seconds. But he gave it as best he could here at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. 17 seconds of Texaco Round 6 of the eTeam BRIT Summer Series here at Monza. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. Time's up. This is the final lap of the race. We go into Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2 for the final time here at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. Cunliffe got a drive-through penalty for contact with Freddie Hunt. But now we head to the Ascari chicane for the final time. A second separates the 2 leaders, pulling 250 kilometers an hour plus under the bridge for the final time. Braking from around 260 in top gear, down to 3rd. Mounting the curbs. We then come out of the Ascari chicane for the final time for the short blast down to Curva Parabolica here at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. Josh Martin, Kesha pole position winner. He rounds the final corner And here in the Team BRIT Summer Series, it's 6 different winners from 6 different races as Josh Martin takes the checkered flag to win here in Italy. Ahead of round 5 winner, Darren King. What a fairy tale as the green smoke flies from the gantries. Great race, everybody, says Andy Tucker in the voice chat. In the message chat, but it is 6 different winners from 6 different winners. P3. I'm just going to wait as here we go. Tobin Lee takes 4th place in the Mercedes. So it looks like Aidan Bro becomes our 3rd place on the rostrum, the Simply Race podium. So Dave Hedges, I think, has taken 4th place. Chris Pinchbeck makes it P6. We'll wait for the official results to be clarified. But so far it has been Plowman, Toth Jones, Warren, Trundley, King, and now add to that list Josh Martin. He now picks up an eTeam BRIT t-shirt for his troubles. What a race. I couldn't believe it. I had a feeling. And the predictions from Max Spooner and John Munro on the Cinetech preview show last night said, yes, we will have a 6 different winner. Wow. I am absolutely speechless, as I hope that a few of our drivers end up doing some celebratory donuts here at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. A few cars battle-scarred at the front of it. Right, let's see. Who have we got with me? Just bear with me a second. So I think if we can get him, I think we have in the live broadcast the eTeam BRIT team manager, Max Spooner, with me right now. Max, what a race. 6 different winners. 6 different winners. We predicted it.
I called that. Yeah, I'm taking full credit for that one.
Well, you and John Munro can share the credit between you, but what a race. Another great grid. Some great action.
That was intense. That was a very intense race. I mean, I got my fuel wrong and I ended up running out of fuel with a lap to go.
You did a Massey Street then, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I was slightly gutted. I was up in 13th. I dropped a couple of places. But yeah, no, that was a really good race. You know, I was battling with cars, all sorts of cars throughout the race there. I think at one point I was racing quite closely with Freddie Hunt, and then I think something happened to him because then he was a lap down on me. So, but yeah, from where I was sitting, it was a good race.
I think we're going to have one heck of a Cinetic preview show next week, aren't we?
I'm going to have to watch you back to catch up on everything I've missed.
I know. Max, we look forward to the Nürburgring GP circuit next week. 3.199 miles, 5.148 kilometres. The Eifel region, shrouded in absolute motorsport folklore. Are you looking forward to that one?
I can't wait for that one. That's going to be a good one. Fortunately, it's on the easier circuit.
Brilliant.
Not the really big one, but
no, and obviously we've been discussing about what's coming next. Are you excited? Because I've given people a teaser. We're going.
I'm so excited.
Even harder.
I can't say anything.
eTeam BRIT secrecy. Sworn to secrecy.
But no, we are working on something pretty special, and it's I think those who are racing with us at the moment are going to be should be really keen to know what we've got coming, and I think they're really going to be when we do announce it, it will be something quite exciting. I'm sure they'll all be itching to get involved.
Okay, no worries, Max. I'll let you go. I've got some drivers waiting because we have now our winner of round 6. 6 different winners from 6 different races from Coach Dave Academy, Josh Martin. Congratulations, young man. Well done.
Thank you very much, sir.
So you gave Darren a bit of a scare here this weekend, didn't you? You switched to the same machinery and you outdid him in every single way that you could possible. You led from lights out to checkered flag. Must have been a great feeling after Suzuka.
Yeah, I think after Suzuka, we knew that we had the pace to deliver. So the Coach Dave Academy guys, we did a lot of work, and James Parker developed a great setup for us. So into turn one, had to give him a bit of a squeeze to make sure he didn't get past, and then it was just kind of race management and pace management, really.
So you're the next person that gets an eTeam BRIT polo shirt. You're looking forward to adding that to your motorsport memorabilia collection?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a great cause, and it's raising a lot of awareness, this championship. So I'm honoured to be a part of it, and obviously to get a prize out of it's pretty awesome as well. So.
Well, we'll make an announcement on whether you made it through the Texaco Hot Lap as one of the top 3, because that's an even bigger prize. Josh Martin from Coach Dave Academy, thank you very much. Our round 6 winner here at Monza. Right, so let's see if we can speak to Darren King from Team Fordzilla.
Hey, Alex.
Not too bad. Well done at Suzuka last time out.
Cheers, guys.
And also another Simply Race podium for you in the Mercedes, a car you know very well. I think I was quite astounded by the lap times you were putting in free practice, 1 minute 47s. You and Josh were absolutely trading times. I mean, but to have a great battle with him last time out at Suzuka, you won it by 9 seconds, but here was so much closer. The cars were being tested. You drivers were having to really watch your P's and Q's, and any undue mistake could really throw a bit of a curveball, couldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Give it up to Josh. He was driving amazing. I was putting so much pressure on him. You know, the first stint and the second stint, and he didn't crumble. There was no mistakes on his end. So yeah, GG to Josh. But yeah, it was. I think everyone in that race was not running no wing, so you had to be super careful on the curbs every time. You know. So, like, I think you should probably see, I made a couple of little mistakes when I got behind Josh in the last stint, just because of over pushing, and that probably cost me a little bit of a battle with Josh there towards the end. But yeah, hopefully we get it next time.
Well, let's see if you win one of the Texaco Hot Lap prizes with an opportunity to have a James Hunt cap, T-shirt or polo from the collection, and have an opportunity to come to a Team BRIT race when the pandemic is finally over and we can get you guys going.
Yeah, that would be awesome, guys. That would be great.
Brilliant. Team Fordzilla's Darren King, second place here on the Simply Race podium. Thank you, Darren. Good luck next week at the Nürburgring.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
Cheers. Right, and rounding out our Simply Race podium, our latest recruit in the Bentley Continental GT, Aidan Bro. Aidan, congratulations. Well done.
Thanks very much.
So I saw that you are a very accomplished individual, multi-time champion with Tora, amongst other credentials. But what did you think of the race here at Monza for Texaco Round 6?
Very enjoyable, I have to say. I wasn't too sure if the Bentley would be brilliant round here or not, but obviously the Merc being the favoured choice, and obviously Darren and Josh both being pretty damn quick themselves. So keeping with those guys in the first stint was a hell of a lot of fun, I have to say. It was really good fun. But then at my pace in the second part of the race, I was all over Darren after the pits, but then it kind of dropped off for me a bit with a few silly mistakes. But yeah, no, happy with third.
Brilliant. Well, congratulations. I hope we're going to see you next time out for both the Nürburgring and the season finale at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca in a couple of weekends.
Yeah, hopefully I'll try my best to make them, definitely.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot, Aidan. All the very best of luck.
Much.
Speak to you soon. Right, okay, we're going to head to the driver that made it 3 Mercedes AMGs in the top 4. Joining me now is Tobin Lee. Tobin, congratulations. Good result there.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think progress is really good because I'm brand new to this game. And I think looking at where I was last week, I think I've improved a lot. And now I'm really excited for the next couple of races as well to see if that can continue. So yeah, really happy.
And I think a lot of people switched to the Mercedes due to the sheer grunt of the 6.3 naturally aspirated V8. As it was definitely that and the Bentley were the two cars that really stood out to me throughout the race itself, because you could really use the tow quite efficiently, but also it made sure that you had that opportunity as well. So I think that was kind of the case, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Because I picked the McLaren last time.
Mm-hmm.
But that didn't work out for me, so I decided to switch it up. I mean, it wasn't bad, but
I mean, yeah, you had. I mean, in my estimation, anyone that gets top 6 on a debut in a series is quite good. Besides, this is new to me, all the esports. So, but it's really good to see you guys, and great that you guys are able to provide us with your Twitch stream. So, having you on boards. But Tobin, many congratulations for a P4 finish. We'll see you next week in
awesome.
Germany.
Cheers.
Right, okay, let's see. Have we got... Now, I have just been informed that we have somebody else. Now, if somebody would actually stop sending me messages via another Discord chat, let's see who we have got. David Christie from the SMRC in Canberra Media. Well done. Well done today, mate. Great job on the sole BMW entrant.
Thank you very much. You've got to represent BMW, you know. I promise it wasn't me spamming you with messages on the other.
No. It wasn't. It was a completely different Discord server, because that's the problem when you have notifications for multiple different channels and they go, I just want to see what someone sent me.
Wow, what a race. That was, obviously I saw a little bit of it from the mid-pack, but yeah, that was incredible. So many battles happening all the way through the fields. That was so much fun. Brilliant.
Looking forward to the Nürburgring next time around?
Yeah, I'm just, for myself personally, I'm really pleased at the progress that I made. I only got a Assetto Corsa competition a couple of weeks ago, dived straight into Suzuka, and then made some big progress this week. And I think I'm quite comfortable at Nürburgring, and I might have to eat it into a couple of the corners. And for me, it's not just the racing, the Discord chat as well is like the best chat that I've ever been. So big shout out to everyone that's on voice chat through the races. You make it a very, very pleasant experience.
No, thank you very much, John. I hope you're going to be representing Munich at the Nordschleife at their home track next week, because that'll be 3 in a row. And it seems like it's quite a good car for you as well.
Yeah, we're locked in. We're locked in with the BMW. It might not have the straight line speed of some of the other cars, but once it does get going, and with the new setup that we've just adjusted this weekend, it's looking like if I can get a sort of between either a top 5 or a top 10 next week, I'll be very happy.
All the very best of luck at the Nürburgring next week, David. Thank you very much, mate. I look forward to seeing you race next Friday.
Thank you very much, Alex.
Right, so we are now going to announce the DAF driver of the day. I had 3 votes in total, each nominating 1 driver. Now, Bobby Trundy was our DAF driver of the day, but as I said earlier, I have the casting votes. This week's DAF driver of the day, it came down to some great battling, some great defending. Our DAF driver of the day is John Munro. So John gets the goodie bag from DAF. A big thank you to them for doing that for us. What we will do, and I'm being messaged by Bobby Trundy at the moment. So who have we got now? Let's see. I'm just going to see. Also, we're going to announce the Texaco Halvoline Texaco Hot Lap, and the winner of it was Josh Martin. I will confirm in the preview. I will confirm via our social medias who the other 2 people were, because it was down to the top 3. But what an exciting race here at Monza. 6 different winners, 6 different races on VE Day, the 75th anniversary of when World War II was declared. And we head to the Nürburgring next week on May the 15th. Thank you very much for tuning in to this exciting race at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza with myself, Alex Goldschmidt. See you next time as the eTeam BRIT Summer Series heads to Texaco Round 7 next week at the Nürburgring. You don't want to miss it. Thanks for watching.